Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk to you about something that is simple, yet so easily forgotten. Something that sits quietly in the background of our lives while we focus on everything else, but has the power to completely transform our future. That message is this: you owe yourself more. Think about it for a moment. How often do we compromise our happiness for the comfort of routine? How often do we settle for less than we deserve because it feels safe or expected? The truth is, life is far too short to give anything less than your best to yourself. Every day we spend ignoring our potential, putting ourselves last, and accepting mediocrity. We rob ourselves of the opportunity to experience the life we truly deserve. Life is short. It is a truth we all know, yet one that is so easily ignored in the busyness of our daily routines. We wake up, go through the motions, face challenges, fulfill responsibilities, and then end the day exhausted, often wondering where the time went and why our dreams feel further away than ever. The reality is, life is fleeting, and the time we have is far too precious to waste on mediocrity, fear, or self-doubt. Every single moment carries the potential for growth, joy, and achievement, but only if we recognize its value and choose to invest in ourselves. Think about it. How often do we prioritize everyone else before ourselves? How often do we give our energy, our time, and our focus to tasks, people, and commitments that do not nourish us or push us closer to our goals? There is nothing wrong with supporting others, with being responsible, or with caring for those around us. But the danger lies in neglecting the person who will walk with us through every triumph and every struggle, ourselves. You owe it to yourself to be your own priority, to make conscious decisions that serve your growth and well-being. When we fail to invest in ourselves, we are, in effect, selling our most valuable asset, the time we have on this earth, for something that may not bring us fulfillment, joy, or purpose. Self-investment is not selfish. Far from it. It is necessary. It is the foundation for every success, every meaningful relationship, and every accomplishment we hope to achieve. To invest in yourself means to nourish your mind, to challenge your intellect, to expand your knowledge. It means embracing opportunities to learn, to grow, and to improve every single day. It means waking up and asking yourself, how can I become a better version of myself today? Because every small step you take in your personal growth compounds over time into something extraordinary. The person you are investing in is the person who will navigate your challenges, celebrate your victories, and create a legacy that lasts beyond your years. Imagine a life where you wake up every day fully committed to your own growth and happiness. Imagine dedicating time to your passions, to learning new skills, to reading, exploring, and experimenting. Imagine surrounding yourself with people who inspire you, who challenge you, and who encourage you to push beyond your limits. Life is short, and the decision to invest in yourself is the most empowering choice you can make, because every hour spent improving your mind, strengthening your body, or nurturing your spirit is an hour that pays dividends in the future. It is an investment that compounds in ways no financial portfolio ever could, enriching every aspect of your life and giving you the tools to face any challenge with confidence. But self-investment requires courage. It requires the courage to step away from comfort zones and confront the unknown. It requires the courage to prioritize your own needs, even when the world tells you to put yourself last. Too often, we allow fear to dictate our choices. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. But fear is only a signal, a reminder that growth lies just beyond the boundary of what feels safe. When you choose to invest in yourself, you choose to act despite fear, to take the steps that others are too afraid to take, and to claim the life you are capable of living. Every moment wasted in hesitation is a moment lost forever. Life does not wait, and opportunities do not linger indefinitely. Consider the people you admire most, those who have achieved greatness, made a difference, or created impact. Do you think they reached their potential by waiting for the perfect moment, by doubting themselves, or by allowing fear to rule their decisions? No. They invested in themselves relentlessly. They spent time mastering their craft, improving their skills, and developing the mindset required to overcome obstacles. They understood that their most valuable asset was their own potential, and that time wasted was opportunity lost. Every success story you have ever heard is a story of someone who recognized the importance of self-investment and refused to settle for less than they were capable of achieving. Investing in yourself also means taking care of your physical and mental health. Life is short, and without a strong foundation, it becomes impossible to achieve your dreams. Exercise, proper nutrition, rest, and mindfulness are not luxuries. They are essential components of a life well lived. A healthy mind and body allow you to think clearly, act decisively, and pursue your goals with energy and focus. Neglecting this is like trying to build a house on a shaky foundation. It may stand for a while, but eventually it will collapse. You owe it to yourself to honor the body and mind you were given, because they are the vehicles that will carry you toward your dreams. Ladies and gentlemen, life is not a rehearsal. We are not guaranteed tomorrow, and every day that passes is an opportunity that will never come back. Investing in yourself is not about vanity or pride, it is about responsibility. Responsibility to honor your potential, your dreams, and your future. Responsibility to use the time you have wisely, to build a life that is meaningful and fulfilling. Responsibility to become the person you are capable of becoming, so that when you look back one day, you can do so without regret, knowing you gave yourself the respect, effort, and investment you truly deserved. Too many of us go through life, quietly settling for less than we deserve. We accept situations, relationships, and opportunities that don't fully honor our potential because it feels easier, safer, or more familiar. We convince ourselves that waiting for something better is unrealistic, or that we should be grateful for what we already have. But let me tell you this: settling is not gratitude, it is self-betrayal. It is giving up on yourself and your dreams in the name of comfort. And every time we settle, we diminish the life we could have had, the person we could become, and the impact we could make on the world. It is time to stop making excuses for why life isn't exactly the way we want it to be. It is time to recognize that you are worthy of more. You are worthy of love that uplifts you, of work that challenges and excites you, of experiences that inspire and transform you. You are worthy of living a life that matches your dreams, not just the life that feels convenient. Settling for less is easy because it requires no courage, no risk, and no effort. But it is also a slow erosion of your potential and your self-respect. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you are telling yourself that your desires, your happiness, and your worth do not matter as much as the fear of change. Think about it. How often do people stay in jobs they hate simply because it pays the bills? How often do people stay in relationships that drain them emotionally, mentally, or spiritually because they are afraid of being alone? How often do we hold back from pursuing our dreams because the path is uncertain, or because someone once told us it was impossible? The common thread in all of these situations is a failure to recognize our own value. We settle for what is available rather than reaching FAF, or what we truly deserve. We tolerate mediocrity because we are afraid to demand excellence from ourselves and from the world around us. But here's the truth. The moment you stop settling is the moment you reclaim your life. The moment you decide that you will no longer accept less than you deserve is the moment you take control of your destiny. It is the moment you recognize that your dreams are not optional and that your potential is not negotiable. When you refuse to settle, you are sending a message to yourself and to the world that you value your worth, that you will not compromise on your happiness, and that you are committed to living a life that reflects your highest vision. Stopping the pattern of settling requires courage. It requires acknowledging that change is uncomfortable, that growth is often painful, and that leaving behind the familiar can feel like a risk. But let me tell you this: nothing worthwhile ever comes without risk. Nothing that truly fulfills you will ever be easy. Every person who has achieved greatness, who has created impact, who has lived authentically, has had to take the leap of refusing to settle. They chose to act despite fear, to demand more from themselves and from life, and to pursue what they deserved with relentless determination. It also requires self-awareness. You must honestly assess your life and identify where you are settling. Is it in your career, your relationships, your habits, or your mindset? Are you accepting less than your potential because of fear, complacency, or societal pressure? Once you see it clearly, you can make the conscious choice to change it. You cannot transform what you refuse to acknowledge. Awareness is the first step toward empowerment, and empowerment is the first step toward claiming what you truly deserve. And is not just about ambition or material success. Stopping the habit of settling is about emotional and spiritual well-being too. It is about refusing to accept relationships that diminish your light, experiences that drain your energy, or self-talk that convinces you that you are not enough. It is about understanding that your happiness, your growth, and your peace are not negotiable. You owe it to yourself to create boundaries, to prioritize your needs, and to make choices that align with your highest self. Settling may feel safe, but safety without fulfillment is a cage, and life is too short to remain trapped in it. Refusing to settle also inspires those around you. When you take a stand for your own worth, you give permission to others to do the same. You set a standard that mediocrity is unacceptable and that greatness is attainable. Your courage to demand more from life, from yourself, and from your circumstances becomes a beacon for those who are quietly tolerating less. By refusing to settle, you create a ripple effect, transforming not only your own life, but also the lives of everyone you touch. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to take a moment and imagine what your life would look like if you refused to settle. Imagine pursuing your dreams without hesitation, surrounding yourself with people who lift you higher, choosing opportunities that excite and challenge, and living with the confidence that you are worthy of everything life has to offer. That life is possible. It starts with a decision to stop accepting less than you deserve, a decision to honor your value, and a decision to take action toward your highest potential. Remember, settling is a habit, and habits can be changed. It is never too late to start demanding more from yourself, from life, and from those around you. Every step you take toward refusing to settle, no matter how small, is a step toward reclaiming the life you owe yourself. Every act of courage, every boundary you set, every dream you pursue, strengthens your sense of worth and propels you toward a future filled with purpose, fulfillment, and joy. There is one truth that cannot be ignored. No matter where life takes you, no matter the circumstances you face, the way you see yourself determines the life you will live. Self-belief and self-respect are not just concepts, they are the foundations of every achievement, every fulfilled dream, and every moment of genuine happiness. Without them, even the greatest opportunities can pass you by unnoticed, even the most brilliant talents can go untapped, and even the deepest aspirations can fade into regret. Believing in yourself and honoring your own worth is not optional, it is essential. Too often people allow doubt to infiltrate their minds. They listen to the voices of critics, the judgment of others, or the echo of their own insecurities. And gradually, their confidence erodes. They begin to question whether they are capable, whether they deserve success, and whether their dreams are realistic. And in that quiet erosion, something powerful is lost. The courage to take bold action, the strength to pursue goals relentlessly, and the clarity to recognize their true potential. Without self-belief, life becomes a series of promises, a path dictated by fear, and a story written by circumstance rather than by choice. Self-belief is the engine that propels you forward when the road is difficult, when obstacles appear insurmountable, and when failure seems inevitable. It is the inner voice that whispers, "You are capable, you can do this, keep going," even when the world seems to say the opposite. It is the confidence that allows you to stand tall in the face of adversity, to take risks when others retreat, and to persevere when giving up would seem easier. Believing in yourself is not arrogance. It is recognition of your potential, it is trust in your abilities, and it is an acknowledgement that your dreams are worthy of pursuit. Every great accomplishment in history started with someone believing, against all odds, that they could achieve what others deemed impossible. But self-belief alone is not enough. It must be paired with self-respect, the practice of valuing yourself enough to set boundaries, make wise choices, and refuse to accept treatment that diminishes your worth. Self-respect is the understanding that you are not defined by others' opinions, failures, or circumstances, but by how you treat yourself and the standards you set. When you respect yourself, you refuse to settle for less than you deserve. You demand honesty, fairness, and integrity from your interactions and your environment. You create a life that aligns with your values, your goals, and your principles. Without self-respect, self-belief can be fragile, vulnerable to the criticisms and judgments of the outside world. But when they work together, they form an unshakable foundation for a life of purpose and achievement. Consider for a moment the people you admire most. What do they have in common? It is not simply talent, luck, or opportunity. It is the unshakable belief in themselves and the unwavering respect they hold for their own journey. They faced challenges, rejection, and setbacks, yet they never allowed those external circumstances to define their worth. They believed they were capable of more, and they respected themselves enough to fight for it. And that combination of inner conviction and self-honor is what enabled them to achieve greatness, to inspire others, and to leave a legacy that endures. The practice of self-belief and self-respect is not a one-time decision. It is a daily commitment. It means starting each day with the mindset that you are capable, valuable, and worthy of your goals. It means refusing to accept negative self-talk or comparisons to others. It means surrounding yourself with people who support, challenge, and uplift you rather than those who undermine your confidence. It means taking risks, pursuing opportunities, and embracing challenges not because they are easy, but because they are worth it. It means recognizing that failure is not a reflection of your worth, but a stepping stone toward growth and mastery. Self-belief and self-respect also empower you to overcome fear. Fear often manifests as doubt, hesitation, or procrastination, convincing us that we are not ready, not capable, or not deserving. But when you truly believe in yourself, fear loses its power. When you respect yourself, you refuse to let fear dictate your choices. Together, self-belief and self-respect give you the courage to act decisively, the resilience to recover from setbacks, and the clarity to pursue a life that fulfills your deepest aspirations. Every time you honor these principles, you strengthen an inner foundation that cannot be shaken by rejection, failure, or criticism. Moreover, self-belief and self-respect are contagious. When you walk through the world with confidence in your abilities and honor for your worth, you inspire others to do the same. You demonstrate that it is possible to pursue dreams with courage and integrity, to insist on value, and to take action even in the face of uncertainty. Your life becomes an example of what happens when someone refuses to underestimate themselves or compromise their principles. The impact extends beyond your own success. It encourages others to step into their potential, to demand more for themselves, and to pursue lives of meaning and purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to recognize that the most important relationship you will ever have is the one with yourself. Your beliefs about yourself shape your decisions, your actions, and ultimately your life. Your respect for yourself determines how others treat you and what you are willing to accept. If you want to live a life of achievement, fulfillment, and happiness, you must first cultivate an unshakable belief in your abilities and a deep respect for your own worth. It is not arrogance to see your potential, it is wisdom. It is not selfish to honor your value, it is necessary. Every dream you hold, every goal you pursue, and every aspiration you chase will only be possible when you believe in yourself and respect yourself enough to act on it. There will always be challenges, setbacks, and critics. There will always be moments of doubt, frustration, and uncertainty. But when you carry within yourself the power of self-belief and self-respect, those challenges become opportunities. Those moments of doubt become fuel. Those critics become reminders that your path is yours alone to walk. You owe it to yourself to cultivate these qualities, because without them, your potential will remain untapped, and your life will be diminished by hesitation and compromise. Fear is one of the greatest obstacles we face in life. It hides in the shadows of our minds, quietly convincing us that we are not ready, not capable, or not deserving of the life we dream of. Excuses often accompany fear, providing justification for inaction, for settling, for remaining in situations that do not serve our growth. We tell ourselves, "I'll start tomorrow," or "I'm not ready yet," or "maybe this is just not meant for me." And each of these moments of hesitation slowly builds a barrier between us and the life we are capable of living. Fear and excuses are thieves. They steal time, energy, and potential. They prevent us from stepping into our true power and claiming the future we owe ourselves. The first step in overcoming fear is recognizing it for what it is. Fear is not always a signal to stop. Often, it is a signal that something important awaits. Every significant achievement in history, every story of personal triumph, begins with someone acknowledging fear and deciding to act despite it. Fear is natural, it is a part of being human, but when it controls our decisions, it becomes destructive. Excuses, on the other hand, are deliberate. They are the stories we tell ourselves to rationalize inaction, to avoid responsibility. R. To remain comfortable. Overcoming fear requires both courage and honesty. It requires looking at the excuses we use and asking ourselves whether they are valid, or whether they are simply ways to avoid doing the work that will transform our lives. Growth does not come to those who wait for fear to vanish. It comes to those who act in spite of it. The most successful people in the world are not those who have never experienced fear. They are those who have faced it repeatedly and refuse to allow it to dictate their actions. They understood that fear is temporary, but regret is lasting. They knew that excuses may feel comforting in the moment, but they will never lead to fulfillment, accomplishment, or self-respect. Every step forward, no matter how small, weakens the hold that fear has on your life. Every action taken despite fear strengthens your courage and builds momentum for greater achievements. Excuses are often rooted in the stories we tell ourselves about our limitations. I'm too old, I don't have enough time, I'm not talented enough, or I lack the resources are all ways we convince ourselves that progress is impossible. But the truth is, every successful person has faced limitations, challenges, and obstacles. What set them apart was not a lack of fear or difficulty, but the refusal to allow those barriers to define them. They chose action over hesitation, persistence over comfort, and courage over complacency. The moment you recognize that excuses are simply barriers you have the power to overcome, you reclaim control of your life and open the door to personal growth. Fear and excuses are often strongest when we are on the verge of something meaningful. When you are close to a breakthrough, when the opportunity to grow is within reach, fear will try to stop you, and excuses will try to convince you to settle. This is exactly the moment when action is most critical. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is taking action in spite of fear. Growth is not the absence of obstacles. Growth is moving forward, even when challenges appear overwhelming. Every time you choose to act despite fear, you train yourself to be resilient, resourceful, and unstoppable. Every time you refuse to make an excuse, you reinforce your commitment to your own development and success. Overcoming fear also requires self-reflection and clarity about your goals. When you know what you want and why it matters, fear loses its grip. The power of purpose can outweigh even the strongest doubts. When your vision for your life is compelling enough, excuses become irrelevant, and hesitation loses its appeal. You begin to see fear not as a wall, but as a stepping stone, a challenge that, once faced, will bring you closer to the life you desire. Every obstacle becomes an opportunity to strengthen your character, to refine your skills, and to deepen your commitment to yourself and your dreams. Action is the antidote to fear and excuses. Action, no matter how small, breaks the cycle of hesitation and doubt. It builds momentum, confidence, and belief in yourself. Each step you take, no matter how uncertain, carries you closer to your goals. Waiting for the perfect moment or the ideal conditions is a trap. The perfect moment rarely comes, and conditions are never ideal. The only way to grow is to act, to risk failure, to confront discomfort, and to embrace the unknown. Every act of courage compounds over time, transforming not only your skills and abilities, but also your mindset and your self-confidence. Fear and excuses often demand attention, but they do not deserve it. You must learn to acknowledge them without allowing them to control you. Speak to yourself with encouragement, not doubt. Focus on solutions, not limitations. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, inspire you, and hold you accountable. And most importantly, commit to yourself and your growth with unwavering determination. The life you want is possible, but it will not be handed to you. It must be earned through courage, consistency, and the refusal to accept fear or excuses as reasons for inaction. Ladies and gentlemen, every moment you let fear guide your decisions, every moment you allow excuses to justify inaction, is a moment lost forever. But every moment you act despite fear, every time you reject excuses and embrace growth, you reclaim your power, strengthen your character, and bring yourself closer to the life you deserve. Personal growth is not a luxury. It is a responsibility you owe to yourself. It requires courage, persistence, and the willingness to face discomfort. But the rewards are immeasurable: confidence, fulfillment, purpose, and a life that reflects your true potential. So, I challenge you today to recognize your fears, confront them, and refuse to allow excuses to dictate your path. Take responsibility for your growth, take action toward your dreams, and embrace every opportunity to become a stronger, wiser, and more resilient version of yourself. Fear may always exist, excuses may always tempt you, but your commitment to personal growth can always overcome them. The moment you choose courage over hesitation, action over excuses, and growth over comfort, everything in your life begins to change.